You. It's your fault. You're up. I don't know why I'm shaky all of a sudden. Okay, so we got some time before the try the time. Hi everyone, and welcome to another Second Life content creator meeting. My name is Zero, and I'm here recording it so you don't have to be here. Cool. Close these. Yeah. So I'm gonna be here recording this so you guys don't have to be here. You can watch it. And who is that handsome fellow over yonder? I take it back. I mean, he's handsome and all, but it's just not my style. I thought he was someone else. All the men have beautiful baby faces. Let me turn this up. It's not exactly ugly per se. It's just his face is way smoother than mine is. I like his eyes. Actually, he reminds me of EXO. I guess that's probably why I feel a little uncomfortable. Like, he's hot, but he reminds me of my relative. And that's never good. Let's see. We got a bunch of people here. A lot of unique things here. I really like this armor. In fact, it looks really familiar, but I just can't place it. We got Marge. And we saw how that dress was made, which makes me giggle. Let's see, Yumi's here, and Asha is here. And I just talked to her, and I'm laughing because I'm like, you. Have you ever seen the movie Hook? It was kind of like that. You. No, not you. You. You know, like, it's your fault that I make tutorials. And apparently she likes them. So, in quote what she said, it came full circle. And she's actually not a good friend. Yeah, the boo box. Yeah, that's exactly it. You. That's what I thought it was Zora armor, but it seems like it's not, I think. I don't know. Or maybe it's very Zora inspired. Oh, goodness. I took some medicine real quick, so we're going to hope that it goes through before the meeting starts, so I'm not like whatever. Yeah, this is the creators meeting, and everybody seems to be here. I don't understand why. I wonder if something happened and everybody's coming to yell, or did they just get it? Cooper just posted it in their creators. Said, "Oh dear Lord, watch out for the big girls." I'm kind of out of it. Didn't I? Well, sit back and watch. You ain't missing nothing. I'm recording it all. I'm trying to see if I got the sound going, but we'll see. Well, thank goodness I managed to get in here before it happened. You know. Oh, yeah, I didn't tell you. So, if you guys have any questions and you want to ask the lindens when they get here in 10 minutes or so, just type it here and I'll ask and we'll see what their response is. If I start buzzing, let me know so I can twist the wires again. And you're going to hear that sound because I'm drinking water out of a milk gallon and I'm too lazy to go in the kitchen and get some. I know who you are, Yumi. You gonna get me kicked out of here for asking them for Flexi mess. You know they not gonna do that. My one question is when they will make a responsive version, a smartphone version of the marketplace. Okay, I'll ask. I feel like that's what he's gonna say. What's Alexa Linden looking like nowadays? Oh, just as I was about to go and zoom in on her, she scoots. I'm like, well, where did she go? Oh, there she is. Let's see. I see. That's quite the look. Okay, okay, calm down. I'll ask. No need. And misery, dear, if you're in pain, don't stress yourself. Relax. You're not gonna heal if you keep forcing your body, you know. You. I feel like I wanna I'm gonna take my cat off. I don't wanna cause lag. With that Zora. And I don't know if she's really a Zora, but that's what I'm gonna call her because she looks like it's a Zora. I feel like I need to whip out something. Find original. It should be around here somewhere. Little Gypsy. Hopefully this is before I had the Lugia men body. Waist helm lands. There you go. Now I feel like a whole 5 frames per second. This is a new record. It's running super smooth. There you go. If I take off my wings, we can probably milk out 6. Dan, my beloved. Damn it. He must have heard me and sat far away. I'm about to be like, yo, homie, scoot. We all know I sit next to Dan. Well, wait. Dan has a face today. He's not his normal Dan self. Dan. It's all meshy and stuff. What happened to his handsome... You leave the island, you start going Hollywood. It's what that is. Nah, I don't mind. It also helped that I'm rendering every... really that like bothersome to me. This is usually the going rate for a creators meeting. It's also because I have everybody loaded. If I was to reduce how many people are here, then it wouldn't be so laggy. On top of that, I'm also streaming, so capture this and that. Oh my, it's a whole lot of Lindens in here today. Mojo Linden, Caleb Linden, Alexa Linden, bitch Linden. Not Alexa, the other guy. He knows who he is. Um, shit, Spiff. It's a whole lot of Lindens. Oh, and there goes Veer. Let me see. Max avatars. Oh, yes.
Hey, big turnout today. Everybody hear me?
Okay, here we go.
Alright, well, might as well go ahead and get started. I will first run through the just general viewer updates. We have one topic that we'd like to talk about, later in the meeting, but it's the sort of thing that can easily
Oh,
expand and take
sorry.
up all the space, so we will make some room to cover other things first. The general viewer update, let's see, nothing new on viewer releases recently. There may have been an update since the last one of these meetings, though, since it's been a little while. And we have a bunch of RCs that we're hoping to get out soon. These are, like the next viewers that would be getting promoted to default at some point. In particular, we have an RC for the performance improvements viewer. If anybody is interested in that, I would encourage them to download it and give it a try. And let us know of any issues. It's always better to tackle these things before they go out to everybody, or before they go out to other viewers. And so yeah, just give it a try. File bugs. Hopefully, it also will help your performance. So win-win there. And let's see. In terms of like what the other RCs are, we have the MFA viewer that has support for multi-factor auth. So if you want to try to secure your account with multi-factor auth, then you have the option to do that now. And that's another good one to try out if you're interested in that area. The other release candidate we have is the next iteration of the maintenance viewer, which has ongoing bug fixes and things. Let's see. So the topic that we had
Oh,
for for today is to talk about some upcoming work with uh, changing or adding additional support for materials. But as I say, I think that's probably going to generate quite a lot of comments. So I will throw the floor open for other questions or topics first. Anybody have other things they want to talk about?
What material slots? Okay, y'all, ask me the questions to ask them. The floor is open.
Hey, buddy. We're going to talk about the material work a little later. I just wanted to avoid having it eat up the whole meeting. So if we got any other questions first, feel free to jump in with those.
Thank you, Exa. I ripped it with love and tailored it with heart. Okay, hi. I got questions from viewers that are watching the stream. Person asked, is there any chance of us ever getting Flexi mesh?
I'm not sure exactly what Flexi Mesh means. I mean, you can animate meshes now, but by rigging them to skeletons, which is kind of the I don't know the most standard way to do it these days.
Yeah, like
Could you say more about what they're shooting for?
like mesh with physics that react like Flexi prims do, but mesh.
Yeah,
Could use them for tails,
Hmm.
ears.
Tails, ears, dresses, flowy hair.
Technically, that would be possible by treating the Flexi Prim physics as a skeleton instead of a primitive path, the way it is now. So technically feasible, so won't say never, but every time anybody touches the FlexiPrim code, it breaks content. So,
Well, there you go, honey.
those furry tails need to stay in sync. And changing the scheduler changes that.
Yeah, I guess I'd say basically no current plans there, but if we, get a feature proposal that talks more specifically about exactly how it would work and what people would get out of it, we'd be willing to take a look at it and see if, either it's something that might make sense or it's something where there might be other ways to address the same needs.
I don't even see stargazers, so. I didn't turn the voice down. We got more questions if anybody else don't want to take a slot.
Oh, go ahead.
So, another question from one of our online viewers asks, is there any chance that you're going to implement more physics inside of the game? For example, when stepping in water, you don't sink as fast.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. We don't have any immediate work going on to change physics, but we certainly could do more physics than we do. There's a physics engine in the viewer that doesn't that isn't used for a lot currently, and could probably do, fancier things if we did more digging into it. As well as possibly making the server side stuff, more elaborate. So, I guess it's just a question of, what are the specific requests, and where does it fit in the priority list. But, at least right now we don't have anything else going on with that.
Okay, that answered that one. And we have another one. I'm sorry for grabbing up all the question slots from you peeps. But the person asked, is there any plans in the works for a mobile website for the marketplace? Or one that's more suited towards the marketplace mobily?
I think that's a question of timing. I mean, certainly we've been talking about such things, but other than saying, hey, we're thinking about it, that's about as far as I can get at this point.
We've been thinking about it.
I think there's a web user group meeting. If so, that would be the best place to take that one. I'm not working on the website, so most of the other folks here also aren't, so we don't have a lot of detail on that sort of thing.
Okie doke. That's all the questions I got so far. Go ahead, y'all. Can you ask? Sorry for taking slots.
Oh, yep. Thanks for posting the link. Is there a special occasion? Usually when this many people show up to a meeting, it's because they all want to complain about the same thing.
The airing of grievances, the Festivus meeting.
Should we put in a poll too?
Oh yeah, I actually bought one off of Marketplace at some point.
Honey? The person asked, are you going to pick up the stuff now? Yeah. Okay. Hang on, y'all, 1 second. Husband's going to pick up this refrigerator from me from Facebook. Remember, it's $25 in cash.
More options with sky settings. My suggestion, if you've got a fairly detailed proposal or kind of list of things there, would be to file a feature request, Jira. If something fairly detailed pops up in a meeting like this, it tends to just sort of scroll by and be lost to the ages. So it's a lot easier to keep track of that sort of thing if we've got a specific request for it. Option to turn off the sky. I'm not quite sure what that means. Do you just see kind of a black void then, or what happens? Could you get that effect now by just shoving in the appropriate texture?
Actually do that now. Just create a black heap setting.
Yeah.
Hi, we got another question that's definitely not from me. But is there any chances or talks now about increasing that prim size limit? That's definitely from a person asking, not me.
But you don't
The
care?
public is forcing you.
It's totally me.
You know what? I don't think we have looked at that lately. That's a good question.
The thing about the prim size
Usually there's a trade-off between how much this empowers people to do new cool stuff versus how much it kind of creates a risk of kind of new types of abuse scenarios. But yeah, as Alexa says, we haven't looked at that a ton recently.
Look at it. Look at it.
Want to,
is there
chat about
any
it.
thought in giving us the option to toggle animation on and off via script so we can iterate through different attachments or different things in a link set that can be rigged or animated differently?
You say toggle animesh, like turn an object from
Yes, so
animesh to
right now
not
there's an
animesh
option in the build
using the
menu to
script.
toggle animesh on and off for an object, but there's no LSL method to do that.
Right. Yeah, we've specifically decided not to tackle that because we don't think we can make it a good experience. Your object is always going to kind of look different when you suddenly transition from one to the other.
Well, that
And
can be an artist's decision.
yeah, I think it's also just well, even if even if the artist is trying to do that, I think you're going to get different results based on object scale and whether stuff is currently getting clamped in some way. And I just don't think it's going to give good consistency. Is this motivated by any concerns other than land impact, or is it just all about the
Well, it's
land
this is
impact?
like we only have, if you're non-premium, you have one animesh attachment, but I can animate, say, I can make a link set and then have each part in that link set have a different sort of animation set or a different kind of interaction or different attachments
Um,
that I could animate differently at different
well,
times.
animationness is a property at the link set level, right? So it's going to apply to all of the prims in the link set, whether it's on or off. It's not something
It
you can
depends on how I've
toggle.
rigged it.
I don't think.
This
Well,
person seems a
I mean,
little
you can't
aggro.
you can't toggle.
Who bees
Even
you?
interactively, whether something is an animesh on a per prim basis, or you're not supposed to be able to. The intent is that it's a global property where it's everything is just based on kind of how that's set in the root prim.
Oh, it's the person in the back.
In regards to
Yeah.
the prim size for the sim, it always bothered me that it wasn't a power of two, so that you would get an even number of prims per parcel rather than a floating point decimal that will never be able to be used.
You mean the limit is a floating point number, or
Well, no, like
the value of individual items is a floating point number?
if you take the any of the maximum limits for a sim, and then take the minimum parcel size, and you figure out how many prims can fit on that parcel, based on the entire size of the sim, it ends up coming to a floating point number that you can't actually make full use of.
Yeah, I mean originally prim count meant how many prims
Fuck,
were
they
in
using
a
math.
region. I mean it doesn't really mean that anymore. Now we have this sort of land impact formula that we're sort of I don't know denominating in prims, but it's really just a number that as you say can be a float. I don't think most people who are exceeding their quote unquote prim count for a region really have more than that number of wood cubes or whatever. It's mostly going to be cost that's imposed kind of on top of the cost of the actual prims themselves.
How about on the idea of you giving us the ability to animate scale?
That one we have a request for. It's in the queue of stuff that is interesting, and we may do at some point, but it's not in the currently active queue right now. So yeah, it's possible that we will have the ability to animate scale at some point. Let's see, there's some questions in scroll that we haven't been covering. Let me go back and see if I can get any of those.
Can people hear me?
I hear you, Mojo.
Right. People were asking about prim limits and what have you, and obviously there's all kinds of formulas and what have you. Do you think we could put more services and more resources towards it, but do you think people in the community would be willing to basically increase their rent or increase the amount or cost that is paid to Linden for the doubling the prim count or something like that? Like,
Yes.
I guess
What?
yes, you're going to pay us twice the amount of money just so you can double your prim count. Okay.
Yes. Yes. I don't know. Maybe I'm rich now, but that seems logical. Give me my prims. I'm willing to pay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's the debate.
I mean, we have had different limits depending on the kind of types of
yes.
regions in the past. Yeah.
Because sometimes it's like you find a really good little sim somewhere. If it's like you can double your prims on all the parcels and not just only with a region, then I don't see the reason why. Because sometimes you'll find a little tiny 5, 12, 10, 28 little square and it's really nice and you don't want to be around people but you need more prims. So offering a service where you can up the prim count, I would be down for that. But I'm a hermit, so, and somewhat rich.
Yeah, hey, it's all about the wealthy hermits. There's a question in chat about is VR going to be a thing again? And then
I will fall for you over again.
Is VR going to be a thing?
Yeah, there was a question about VR, and there was a question about having meet a high FPS rate. That is one of the big concerns about VR is kind of lack of frame rate guarantees. Especially since depending where you go, things can just get much busier and slow down your rendering. So yeah, I mean, the short answer is VR is of interest, but it's not.
I'm 1,000 miles away, but girl, tonight you look so pretty. Yes, you do.
Hey, sure, mate. Go home. You're drunk.
Go home, you're drunk.
Hey there, Delilah. Don't you worry about the distance. I'm right here. You get lonely.
Well, bless your heart.
Listen to my voice. Sky.
Meeting is only an hour long. Can you please not?
Somebody asked, is there any plans on increasing more land sizes or adding more things bigger than we have now? Given the fact that there's going to be a price hike soon, might as well get more land. End quote.
Sorry, say that again. You're asking about doing something before a price hike on land costs?
Oh, because of the whole taxes thing. So someone asked if they're up in. Oh, if we're going to be paying taxes, is there any chance that we're maybe getting larger land sizes added in?
Over again.
The taxes is something we have to do.
Oh,
the government is asking us to do this. As far as land sizes, the two aren't connected. We are looking at new products and new things we can do for the community, but we don't have anything something on the plan for larger plots of land. It's been discussed. So that's more of something that comes up in our sim. Put it to tell us what type of land you want, what you want to do, and why you want it.
I will ask them and get back to you on that one.
So I just realized I had voice disabled. Did anybody mention anything about the topic I brought up about making Second Life more immersive via land settings?
They talked about VR, if that's what you mean.
No,
what
there's
kinds
a lot of
we're shooting for here?
Okay, so there's a lot of RLV settings that are in Second Life that were kind of like a we had to make do with RLV, but there's a lot of these settings that would make Second Life more natively immersive if they were in the LAN settings. Things like being able to disable minimap, limiting your alt cam distance, not being able to sit through object surfaces, things like that just make Second Life more immersive for an experience that is more game-like. Things that already exist in the game that you could very easily add to the LAN settings. Basically, things that make it difficult for people to cheat in a game-like setting. Things that would make everybody's roleplay much more game-like, more immersive.
It sounds like you're trying to solve a particular problem. I definitely dismiss the feature request portal and say, hey, why aren't you guys doing this?
No, what I'm asking you is, could you add these RLV settings to the land options so that we can very easily, as creators, host an experience that is more game-like? I'm not looking to do things via script. It would be much more easy to just flip a switch.
Well, my understanding is that RLV isn't even officially supported by Linden Lab, as it's a Firestorm and other viewer thing. It's not in the official viewer, so they don't really have the full context for that, I would imagine.
Well, since it already exists, it could be easily obtained. It would be easy to add to the LAN settings to just be able to globally disable certain features like minimap. And even if you don't have access to RLV, how difficult could that be?
I hear that dumb voice, and I know it's you. Yeah, you died. Like, you're hiding on Second Life. I can see why. Like, you're a huge pussy, and you want to act tough.
Oh
Yeah,
my!
of course, coward's gonna coward. But, like, if I ever see you in real life, I'm gonna fucking murder you. And I don't give a shit. I'll murder you with a fucking cop car. I'll throw you into a fucking cop car side window and burn the fucking thing down with you in it. Yeah, only in real life, though. Oh, they want to do a...
So, I kind of get your point on kind of game experiences and how there's a bunch of UI and clutter. I don't know. I mean, I still think you should, suggest it as part of our feature request portal and what the use case is and what you want to do, and when we get to review your thoughts there, I think we need more information to understand what your
Grave. On that
here.
note,
But
I would also discuss or add in, or if we can discuss it here, the option to get HDRIs added to replace, or have an option to replace the existing reflective cube map with an HDRI of our choosing.
Oh, hang on.
Yeah, that does sound interesting. State P still around?
Hi.
There we go. Sorry
Yeah,
about that.
Our environment map is terrible and must die.
Yeah. It's a very good point.
If I just had the ability to just swap it out with my own, that's all I want. I also don't want it to be limited to just an experience. I want to be able to make that my personal reflection, like HDRI, if I wanted to.
Yeah. And people also brought up like land painting last time. I thought that was a great idea, being able to paint paths along the terrain.
Yeah, that would be decals. Being able to have like layered decals on the ground.
Yeah.
We could totally do that externally and import it in if we could have larger prims. Just
that would
saying.
be a mesh that you've made and brought in as your own personal like land, but that's just an object. We're talking about adding layers to the ground where you can add in your own decals like land and grass and etc.
Yeah, we were talking about how the raw file for the land is a 13-channel image where only 3 of the channels are used. We could possibly use those other channels for that.
These are interesting ideas, and you have been talking about ways of improving terrain. I mean, I think there's a series of projects we have in front of it that kind of lead up to better and better improvements in environments and terrain.
I'm not gonna say nothing,
Veer, did
but I
we?
think that's a rug.
Are we talking materials today, or?
Yeah, this is probably a good time to segue into materials, since that's one of the things that we want to look at before we tackle terrain. We are actively looking at adding the ability to bring in materials from other tools. You know, the kinds of things that can export things in a GLTF format, and then use those internally as things that can be applied to objects in world. You know, initially the idea here is that you know, when you've done that, then you have a material item in your inventory that then you can reuse. You can, you know, stamp it onto other objects in the future. It kind of captures all of your settings that you want for a given face, and you know, could even potentially be something that's tradable or whatever if people wanted to. So there are a couple goals here. One is to make life a little easier for people who are currently authoring content in places like Substance Painter, and then when they want to, you know, get things to look the same in Second Life, they just have to kind of go in and set each, you know, set each parameter by hand. And the other thing is that this is sort of a foundational tech before we tackle things like PBR. That you know, when we get to PBR, we need to add more texture channels, you know, more other goodies, and these material items give us a place to hold that additional information. Let's see.
That's good
Not sure if
information.
I'm missing any other goals there, but so
That would be
you know,
good. Go ahead.
yeah, so we, you know, it'd be helpful for us to understand, you know, a couple of things from the content creation community. One is, you know, what your sort of normal workflows look like and how we can kind of help streamline those. You know, what tools you care about supporting, and also, you know, how you would be interested in trying to use these, you know, materials in the viewer itself. So I'm happy to answer questions or you know, respond to any comments folks have about you know, kind of what their current usage looks like and what they'd be interested in.
I mean, currently we have to do stuff like bake our own lighting into most models to make them look game-like. So yeah, having some kind of PBR lighting system would be pretty nice.
Having the materials going into PBR, you're also going to have to fix your reflective map. You have to do it, or else no matter what you do to materials or PBR, it will never look good. In that caveat, we have to enable specular and specular level within Substance Painter in order to get any good specularity out of the current system. In order to actually do anything that's usable, or to have any kind of gradient in our specularity.
So you said you need a specular level.
Oh,
something that we don't
Lynn, I can
have?
tell you right now,
Specular
mirrors will
level.
never happen in Second
So
Life. It
to
can't
define
happen in Second
the
Life.
intensity,
The viewer, the world will
range of
explode.
how specular a given area is. You can give it a color, but there's no. You have to define that in Substance Painter.
Okay, while
And
he talks about that, I'm gonna explain to you
there
why
is a
mirrors
section
ain't gonna
of
happen.
those,
So, like way back in the day, it was somewhat possible to have mirrors. We had this one video where this guy had made a mod where he was dancing in front of a mirror, which was actually just kind of like water, what it was. So it was able to work fine. The problem with that, no, don't explode the world. So the problem with that and why it's not going to work nowadays is because avatars have become way too complex. So just imagine the regular Second Life avatar lady, you know, the big avatar the heavy, let's just say light avatar that's only 60K in triangles. Then she has the 100 and some odd K hair, the 40K ring, the 20K nipple per tit, the 50K shoes and all that stuff. That's what she's wearing now. And then they will have a mirror which has to replicate everything that is on, I'll answer that person in a minute. They have to replicate that gigantic avatar with all her attachments on there, and then mirror it onto a surface, and then calculate every move that person makes. So if they start dancing, it's trying to catch up and get every single one of those frames and stuff and mirror it inside of a frame. And then you know that they're not just going to have one mirror. They're going to have a whole room of dancing mirrors of themselves. So let's just say the person is about 300,000 triangles plus, and 300,000 triangles as one avatar, and then that's going to be mirrored again, that's 600, and then we're going to have the next mirror next to it and one next to it, and then you're going to have millions of triangles and just one person, plus trying to render the whole world around it. The system would boom. Second Life would implode from one sim. So that's why they're not going to have mirrors ever, because people are too damn heavy. It could have worked back in the day when we were all light, but no, we're super heavy. Let me turn back to the meeting.
But, like all specs, different programs.
Let me answer this person. Okay.
Supporting that spec means.
Hi, yes. Hi.
It'll be interesting to see how
yes,
that shakes out. Like with the mesh import, cloud files, Blender, different cloud files via.
Yes.
Sort of has to.
So that's why.
Deal with that.
Hey, I'll be right back.
So. We'll see how that shakes out with GLTF material import.
Also put a note in there. That's a good point. On the note of the importer, is that being reworked? Please tell me yes.
The mesh importer?
Yes.
No, I think the only changes to that are the addition of the mesh optimizer instead of using glog.
So I would highly suggest to please rework it, because it needs a scale grid. We need to be able to see what what the lighting and everything effects on the model is before we upload it, what our textures might look like before we upload it. We need more information about what our object looks like before we actually hit the buy button to upload and spend the money.
And the beta grid isn't sufficient for that?
It would be nice to just be able to see it, like in the 3D, in the viewer that's already there, before we hit upload, instead of having to log into the beta grid. Because not all the time, like, we're not uploading Animesh or rigged items all the time. It's just maybe a one-off static object. Or
what is this person talking?
But to be able to see it,
I feel like the dairy girl. What is this noise this person is making?
Inspect it before we upload it would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, if we're talking about things that make our workflows faster, that's definitely one of them.
I can't describe to you how much money I've wasted on uploading models that ultimately didn't work for me.
I saw a comment that's talking about support for liquid mesh. I mean, is that for the similar need, I guess?
Mojo, you're a little hard to hear.
You said that it was too much work.
The question.
What's your mic quality?
Wow. Fine.
Don't be rude. Jeez. We all know his mic sucks. Don't point it out.
Okay.
I'm kidding. I'm sorry.
No, actually, I appreciate it, because the next time I'll come. My headset is broken, and so I'm not using a headset. That's why you're hearing such crappy quality. In any case, the point I'm making is that
Me too.
It sounds like there's no support for just getting meshes viewable in your viewer prior to upload. That's what I'm hearing.
Yes.
You create a mesh, you want to bring
all
it.
you see is like a gray model you can vaguely see what the collision box is going to look like, but there's no scale reference. There's not really any way to test or look at animations. As far as .anims or BVH is concerned, there's not really a good viewer to really tell what's going on all the time. And if we could just have...
You gotta work blind and build the models, upload them, and see if they work.
Yes, they have to be in world to actually tell whether or not it's going to look good in the end.
And we still
I
have...
really like Firestorm's approach to having the, actually being able to preview the meshes in world. That seems like that gives you the kind of...
And we're still having...
post-real experience.
Sorry. And we're still having that issue where, you can't bring in rigged textured mesh. That's still a thing. But then again, that's not my fault for not filling out that bug that year.
Sorry, I'm not sure what you mean about not being able to bring in rigged mesh.
Yeah, I remember. I told you about that last time. It was, you can bring in an unrigged textured model, but you can't bring in a textured rigged model. It'll...
How common is it to bring in the textures as part of mesh import as opposed to kind of doing that as a post process?
I know, that was my fault. Dang that COVID.
Jira struck down by COVID.
What I mean is that if I was to... okay. Let's say I was uploading a cube into Second Life, and this cube happens to be unrigged. I've already applied the texture to this unrigged cube inside of Blender and exported it as a static DAE, and I was coming to bring it into Second Life. If I was to check the box to include the textures, the box would come in textured just like I had it in Blender. Now, the problem happens when I decide to add a skeleton to this cube. If I try to import the cube when it's rigged and it's still got the exact same textures on there and I press import with textures, it won't happen. You have to uncheck the box to import textures and then manually import the textures and apply it onto this cube yourself.
Okay, that sounds kind of crummy.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, alright, if we got a Jira for it, we'll fix it. Yeah, I mean, if texture import works at all, it should work regardless of whether it's rigged or not. I mean, those should be independent features. So you can import textures otherwise, is that right?
Correct, but only if it is unrigged.
That is weird.
Yeah, that's gotta just be a bug. Can't imagine that would be intentional.
Let's see. There is a Jira for it? Okay.
See how Zero speaks all calm and collected? That's the medication. There is a lot of people here today. It's kind of crazy.
So in regards to the beta grid, is it still true that you have to change your password every time you want your inventory to update for the beta grid? Because that seems kind of annoying.
I'm not sure about the state of the beta grid. Anybody else worked with it recently?
Okay, that's good that was changed. I'm old, so I'm used to the old way the beta could work.
Yeah, I didn't. I'm like, wow, I haven't heard that in forever. Oh yeah, I forgot that I'm streaming. Stop making weird sounds. Sorry, I was pulling on. I'm bored, so I started pulling on tape.
Okay, so there's something else I want to talk about today. A feature that used to exist. There used to be a registration API. I'll send a link. Oops, sent it to my friend here. Okay. Okay, so that's the link to the registration API. It's a process where user-grown communities can apply for one of those. It would be nice if we could have something like that where communities could get that sort of registration API so that each unique niche world in-world can proactively tailor their sign-up pages to the needs of their users. When it was active, it was limited to educators only, but my suggestion is any community of any size could apply. It would increase discoverability for like communities that are actually trying to, do something in Second Life to provide an experience.
It's a nice outfit and avatar. It's not my type.
I'm pretty sure we do have some cases where things do come in through a reg API. Are we saying that that's no longer supported for kind of public portals?
Yeah, for like anybody. It's kind of limited, I suppose.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure about the status of that. Did we lose Alexa?
I don't even see you, EXO.
She would know. Mojo, have you heard anything about that one?
Ukemi, if you don't make a galaxy mushroom, our friendship is over.
Sorry,
That's too damn cute.
I wasn't following long enough to really understand. Sorry.
Yeah, okay.
Apologies.
Okay, yeah, okay, so short answer, I'm not sure what the situation is with that, but I can pass the question along.
That'd be great, thank you.
I want to get... I'm still working on these damn dogs. I want to play... Ukemi has the best avatars. Next to you. I don't even know where I am. Hang on. Exo Saint is somewhere. I see her hover. So Exo... I see a bunch of ponies who are gathered around me for some reason.
And speaking of niche communities, I'm just going to represent the one that I mainly came from. I have a gyra that I created for this. Would it be possible to go back and visit the Linden Lab damage system at all? Like a setting where when you set it to enabled for land, you could set a damage cap. That way that if you get hit by damage sources, it would set a cap as to how much damage that source did to you. Because currently, when you get hit by damage, it's usually set to 100. And yes, you can set it lower than 100, but nobody will do that. It will never, ever do that. It'll just, nobody, because it's a competitive nature with no oversight, so nobody really tries to do the honor system. They'll 100% set it to 100 in every damage source they can. But if you had a land setting that set the damage cap, they wouldn't be able to do 100 damage and send your avatar home. They'd only be able to do whatever the cap is set to. So if the cap is set to 40, it would take 3 hits of a damage source to send you home. And I understand that kind of community is very dead today, and
Exo, you're so cute.
Neglected since launch. But it would be cool if some of us could do stuff like that to make the experience a little bit more dynamic.
So you'd want a damage cap per what? Per parcel?
Yes.
On your note of those communities, I think that may also be a caveat into the res delay for scripts being initialized after they're resed being a problem with.
But if it isn't,
objects
I
like
did
bullets or
create a
throwing
full perm
axes or what have
system
you.
that you guys can
There's a
tailor to put
noticeable
there.
and measurable delay, so you can shoot something. Yes, I know it is a known issue. It does break a lot of things, though. Works better with this when the sim has been restarted, but after a little while, it becomes unusable.
Well. No, his mic sucks. Don't put it out. It was not me. What?
Yeah, the cornfield kind of turned into a leaderboard, so had the opposite of the intended effect.
Oh, the cornfield. Lovely times. Actually, no. I was a good girl during the cornfield era. Oh, hang on. I only got bad afterwards, but I would hear the tales, and my friends. It's just like they would say, "Oh my God, I was in the cornfield." I was like, "Oh my." Mm.
Yep, the arms race with griefers is something that definitely gets a lot of attention internally. We are not super transparent about our techniques because as soon as we are, it makes it easier to game them.
This is true. Some guy let loose a typhoon and everybody got quiet. Hey, Queen Slayer.
There was a question earlier about the Reg API. I passed along the question. It sounds like that is still a thing. You need to sign up if you want to use it, and the registration form should be linked. But if not,
I got like a sudden
it's
cat face
this.
going on here.
So
Like,
if somebody wants to use it, it should still be possible to do that.
Alright, I'll pass it along to my friend. He was the one that brought it up, and I'll see if he can get that working.
Okay, cool.
I do have a question. If I don't want to step into anybody asking something serious, because this is kind of like it was taken care of, but the process it took to get there was a little over the top. So I had some questions.
Sure. So what's the question?
Okay. So I want to talk about the marketplace, if that's okay, and how customer service works with the marketplace and mostly with stuff that involves with fraud. We had a really big fraud case that happened recently where, our money got taken and the person suspended all of our services for no damn reason. And even though we had the logs to show it, the transactions to prove that our claim was true, and it was multiple people, not just one person, when contacted the customer service, everyone said, like, well, we're just the middle people. Go talk to the creator. And, we tried talking to the creator. And then it's like, well, we don't handle that. That's that. The only reason, and I mean the only reason that got settled is because the head of the Blender Foundation came down and actually brought the hammer down upon Second Life and that guy. But in the meanwhile, when we were trying to do this and we had proof of it, it was like, well, nope, that's nothing we can do. So it opens up the window to, well, anybody can just scam and say they can sell anything on the marketplace and there's nothing that can be done about it if you get scammed. So.
Okay. Sorry, Bunny. I don't mean to cut you off, but I don't think I can do anything for you. That the marketplace is a web property. You could talk to the web team about issues with the way it's working. You'd probably have to talk with support about issues with people being abusive or fraudulent or whatever. Yeah, talk to the governance folks.
There's a governance meeting? I don't think there is one.
Is there a governance meeting?
Because if I was like that person people thought you said, like, say I was, we can just put products on the marketplace and be like, hey, it does XYZ and makes you the greatest player in Second Life ever, and charge them whatever and just take money, and there's nothing that can be done about it. I mean, that's kind of sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, I hear you. I mean, I've definitely run into situations where I buy something and I realize it doesn't have LODs, or there's lots of, there's a very slippery slope there, obviously. And I don't know. I do think this is the wrong forum for it, but I don't want you to feel that we're just brushing you off. It's just let's bring it to a different forum.
Yeah. It's cool. I mean, it's not like we already didn't talk to the web team at the time in support. But hey, look, it worked itself out.
Mr. just brought up a quick
Question about being able to set animation priority via script. Yes, somebody asked for it every meeting, and we're aware of it, and we may do it at some point, but unfortunately, I can't tell you exactly when. It's we certainly know there's a lot of interest in it, and I hope we can get to it in the not too distant future.
That would be so useful.
You know, the catch is that the current LSL request for playing animations and the current messaging for playing animations, doesn't let you set the priority at runtime, so there would be, certainly you wouldn't need to support that, and you'd have to use a different LSL function because it would have an additional parameter for priority.
So for dynamic rigging,
Lucy, I'll tell you what happened after the meeting. It's too much to type right now.
for dynamic rigging, is that the kind of thing where like you take the non-rigged thing and have it auto-rigged after you place it on an avatar in the vine pose, or how would you expect that to work? So for automatic fit adjustment, right now, as I understand it, people rig people build their clothes for a particular body, and then they rig those clothes to the volume bones. If we were going to auto fit, okay, I guess I need to check out the Roblox
I'll do that.
dev blog. But if you're going to auto fit, would you expect clothes to just work with any body automatically? And how would you deal with like layering? Like if you've got a shirt and a jacket, they're gonna interpenetrate.
Oh, what happened here?
Alright, well, we're a little past time. I'm going to have to run off, but people are welcome to stick around as usual, as long as they want. And thanks for coming. Good turnout this week, and we will...
Ew, Medhugh's here. I knew I smelled ass. Ugh. See you there.
Questions?
I'm surprised people didn't want to talk more about materials.
Oh, I definitely want to talk about materials, but there's a lot of questions. I didn't want to.
Aries 5 minutes of script
Was there any more consideration into bomb materials?
More slots. More slots.
Or yeah, so we're not really looking at bomb materials right now. What we're actively looking at is getting better support for the GLTF material spec for non-bomb objects.
I would ask anyone else on the floor if they wanted to ask any material-based questions, because mine were answered.
The goal is to make materials a first-class citizen, so that you can easily copy materials from one object to a different type of object, with PBR being in mind to make things easier for us going down the road.
Not the power here, but it's something else.
Yeah, and the materials probably would not be editable at least at first.
Yes,
because they would be assets.
Okay.
Right, so you'd import a material, it would show up in your inventory as an asset. You could drag and drop that onto a face, and it overrides the texture entry for that face. But then the texture entry settings, both the script side and the UI side, would have no visual effect until you take the material off. And then we'd make the renderer get as close as possible to what that material looked like in your editor.
Oh, dude was talking for a minute, wasn't he? I just blanked out.
Well, the idea is that we make the SL shader match what the editor does, instead of trying to make the editor match what SL does. Oh, you won't get me talking about dates.
Do you have a roadmap that you can give us? Does that exist?
There is a roadmap. It is not public, but you can tell from looking at Bitbucket what we're working on right now.
Soon. Like bigger prims soon.
Another question I have, which I believe I've asked, or someone asked before, is what about the ability for us to have more control over personal lighting, like how you would see an experience, but on a more individual level, not tied to any region or experience?
Isn't that what the world environment personal lighting is?
Yes, but there's no you can't interact with it with scripts or anything like that.
You can use there are two functions in scripts for setting the environments for an agent.
Right, but they require experience.
They do require experience.
That's what I'm asking.
Hold up. Let me see this character.
Experience to interact with our personal lighting at a personal level.
There is a feature request we accepted.
I'm trying to see if this is that character from Phoenix Wright, but it won't load in.
Allowing the script to set a region or parcel's EAP, EAP settings. Again, that would be for anyone in the region. Setting things for
They are. I kind of agree with that. Just do the
Setting the
thing.
environment
I agree.
on
But that's just
on
me.
an individual avatar.
It's part of the whole thing about being a content creator. I don't like using the beta grid because I don't like doing
I'm
the work
saying, like,
once and then having to go back.
Say, just throwing a settings file in an object and being able to apply that.
I don't like that. But, you know, to
To
complain
yourself.
about it, like, bro, that's part of being a creator. You're going to spend that cash.
Opt-in basis. Even just that.
Write a feature request up for that. It'll require something. It's something worth thinking about.
Yeah, I know I'm always open to personal lighting.
Yeah, I love EXO. EXO's hot. And I say that with, like,
You know, because I like lighting.
I'm trying to think of the best way to say that your cousin looks hot without saying your cousin looks hot. But that's a good looking avatar.
That's actually a good example.
Oh. We some good looking folks here.
Fidelity. I went to one of their events.
Ew, here come Med Hugh and his bitch ass.
And we hung out with a bunch of different people. But a big group decided to go to the bathroom at one point. And we were like, I mean, at least I was like, why the hell would we go to the bathroom? But anyway, so we're in VR and everything. And we go in the bathroom. And there's a big pill on the wall. And people were clicking on it, and they get a pill in their hand, and they shove it into their mouth. And when you did that, the whole world would change. Everything.
Alabama.
All you see is like wireframe. Then you take another pill and shove it in your mouth, and all you would see is normals.
That's-
and so on and so on.
That's kind of what I was getting at with being able to modify personal lighting settings on an opt-in basis. So let's say if you bought something, like a blindfold or goggles or what have you, you could have it in the object, apply different environment settings based on what you're wearing, and have it be
pretty much
even on an opt-in basis to be able to change your environment, things like that, and leave it up to the artist or the creator to determine what those would be, but give us the option.
Beck in chat had given the example of a pair of dark sunglasses. Or rose-colored glasses, I'm not sure which.
Oh yeah, EXO, I didn't see that, but to explain it, the cornfield was a place where Linden Labs used to send bad people. So if you were a griefer or you got banned and you tried to come back,
Rose-colored glasses.
they would send you to the cornfield. Your account would be locked there for a certain amount of time, and then you would be able to go back. You can't teleport. You can't talk to anybody. You just sit in this isolation, running around in the literal
really great
cornfield like a mad person.
Oversell something that's not going to happen. Is to have a post effect chain that you can edit like we do material layers. You control with the script.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And, like,
but
the
it became a
extreme
thing,
version of
like
that
who could get in the cornfield the most, and if you weren't a real griefer if you didn't have a stint in the cornfield, so people used to act up just so they could get into the cornfield. So after a while they just took it away because they were like, look, this is having the opposite effect. People are trying to get in, not stay out.
Because it's pretty easy to make a shader that just, melts your GPU.
There is a tool called G-Shade, which you can use to link into Second Life, where you can modify and use post effects.
Right, but unless you get into the area of running shaders that were written by content creators,
didn't
then
think it was
you're
going.
basically going to have a list of a half dozen canned effects that Lindens have made, or that we've accepted.
I was about to say it was a lot of people, but I didn't think it was going to be here because it came 30 minutes ago. Totally thinking I missed it. It is so flippin' hot. My hair is starting to straighten itself.
We're talking about materials now. Probably talk about them next week. next meeting as well.
Okay, so there's a little cat over here named Galaxy Little Paws. I don't know what avatar this is, but it's effing adorable. I just want to grab its face and be like, good kitty, kitty. Elvira-ing that poor cat.
So I set up a Jira about my about land options immersion features that I'd like to see implemented to kind of explain each feature a little bit more than I have, just in case you guys wanted to take a look at it. Things that would make Second Life more game-like on that land, without requiring RLV or scripts or experiences, just things that anyone could natively toggle on or off.
He said it. Drink.
Interesting. A lot of these are viewer side settings. So even if the information was passed to the viewer, when you're doing we have an open source viewer, which means that there's no guarantee that the viewer doesn't just treat it as a suggestion.
Even if the viewer was closed source, you'd still have people hacking the driver or hacking the client. So there's nothing we can do, but to ultimately stop someone if they're determined. But having it natively built in would be a cool feature, especially for gaming stuff.
It's not a. Someone might hack the client is not a terribly compelling argument to not do something.
I mean, there's no way to hack the ability to build objects, so there is ways to force these settings, for sure.
Well, yes, but that's enforced on my end. It's enforced
not rendering side.
That's kind of what we want, though, is like it has to be forced on your end.
How bold this man.
The only way to enforce rendering settings is to basically stream a video from a server, and that doesn't happen. Everyone has GPUs, so they're all doing rendering on the client side. So once we have rendering on the client side, then it's wide open.
I feel like that's something that wouldn't be a problem because somebody would have to really want to go out of their way to cheat, and at that point, who cares? It's one person.
Yeah, and you find cheaters and you ban them from your parcel. It's not really a technical problem. It's a social problem. I mean, let me put it this way, it takes so much effort to do anti-cheat software that people just find ways around anyway that we wouldn't attempt it. We'd just let people use the existing community tools to find and block cheaters.
Yeah, because like if we could have a more immersive experience on land settings that like everybody kind of has to abide by those rules while they're on the land, it would cut out script overhead. It would cut out the requirement to like have to learn how to implement those via scripts, and it would just make it more accessible to people that want to host a game-like experience, and I think that would make Second Life more interesting for new players as well, and older creators would be able to create these experiences for them a lot easier.
I'm trying to knock this dude, but every time he said game like a little too much. Game-ish would be nice. I would like to just say that I'm all for cheating in video games. Motherlode, Rosebud, Hail Hydra! All good things. So y'all still got Linden questions so I can talk about dirt?
I actually need to be on my way.
I'm getting
Thank
there
you,
in
everyone.
another 5 minutes in me, probably.
Yeah, 5 minutes. I'm gonna head out too.
What is this derp you talk about?
Oh, it's not really derp. It's dirt. It's just my accent is so terrible that dirt sounds like dirt. And Lucia had asked why was Bento Buddy banned and what happened with that, and I was going to start talking about it, but I didn't want to fill in, waste reasonable time with Lindens to spill dirt. Dirt. Well, nobody ain't
I'm
talking.
Curious.
All right, so what happened was, I don't know if you guys remember a few meetings back the last time I was here, I was all super hyped, like, I'm going to bring motion to the world with Bento Buddy and make the Second Life a great place by teaming up with them. Oh, welcome. It's not usually this active, so take it in. This is one of the good ones. So everything was working fine. Me and Ben, we were working with Bento Buddy, and we were just making all kinds of waves. But then, like, long story short, that man lost his damn mind this one time during a collab. He had asked me for... I asked him for materials, and he went off saying that I was trying to get him to do all the work, and then he gave me the boot. So that's just my end of it. He blocked me. I paid for Bento Buddy, and he blocked me. When he was in our group, we gave him all kinds of promo with people inside my group because, Mighty Ginkgo, Discord, and all that jazz. So lots and lots of people. We had, his whole Make Second Life Great Again thing inspired me because, that's what I'm all about. So I promoted him to my group, my channel. I got like 9,000 subscribers, so I promoted him to them. 500 or so in my Discord, everybody there. So everybody bought Bento Buddy like crazy. And then out of the blue, he has an episode and decides to block everybody who's using Bento Buddy that was connected to me, and as well as people who disagreed with his program. If you said that something that you could do was better than his and wanted to help with it, he would just say, no, mine's is better, and then block you. The problem is all those people paid for it because I was so happy to help somebody who was trying to make Second Life better that I didn't do my usual routine of giving out the program for free. So money, lots of it. I know one girl said she spent $14K donating all, like, buying the project and then donating money into there, like with other programs that he said he was going to make for, money. Anyway. Dude gets all our money. He blocks us all. We all try to get our money back from him. Like, all right, fine. We don't want to do your support. Give us our money back. We'll stop using it. Even give us a refund because we have the stuff. We can't get a return the software. But since you blocked us for no damn reason, give us a partial refund if you're not going to do the same thing. He blocks us all and nobody can get their money back. We all go and file reports with Second Life, trying to contact the customer service and the marketplace to tell them what's happening. We didn't violate any of his rules. He just suddenly decided that he didn't want us using his stuff, and he blocked us all. We paid for a service that he promised and he's not delivering on it. That's fraud. Give us our money back. Then Linden Lab said, we're just the middlemen. Go talk to the creator. So like we talked to him. Here's logs showing that we talked to him. Here's transactions. Here's where it happened. Multiple people did this, and we all got the exact same email back that Linden Labs doesn't do anything about this. We're pretty much on our own. So, like me personally, I lost like 10K on that. Another person I know lost 14K on his stuff. You know, we all lost money. So
Wow.
I went to YouTube and made it. Huh?
And is this thing for sale on the marketplace?
It was on for sale on the marketplace, but I'm going to get to the good part about why it's not. So, we all got mad because there was nothing that we could do about it. So I went on YouTube and I made a video telling everybody about what happened and what happened to me, what happened to people in my group, what happened to other people who had the same thing happen to them earlier to them. And somebody caught wind of it and sent the video to Ton. Is that how you pronounce his name? Ton. He's the head of the Blender Foundation. He found out about it and looked at Ben's EULA, where it says that he has the right to, you don't have the right to give out this thing, you don't have rights to modify this, you don't have the right to do anything with this product, and I can cancel it if I feel like it. It's my product, I can do what I want. And Linden and he was like, no, that's not a part of the Blender code. And Ton came down and filed a DMCA against Second Life for this product on the marketplace, and it was removed from the marketplace. So then he started doing more stuff like, hey, you guys, I've been bullied. This person filed this against me. And they were like, I don't have the ability to do that. Only the Blender Foundation has that ability. So Second Life sided with Blender, of course, and took it off the marketplace. So then he just moved from the marketplace to in-world and tried to sell it in-world. And then it got taken down in-world and was offered as classic because they're like, oh, he's still selling it in-world. So now he took it off for sale for in-world and applied it to classes or whatever and moved to Gumroad. He was selling it for a while under his name in Gumroad, but somebody reported it again over there. So now he has one, it's under one of his admin's name. So they're selling it on Gumroad over there. But he claims now is compliant with Blender's GLP, GPL. I can never remember the acronyms, but now it's compliant to that. And yeah, that's what happened with it. He scammed a bunch of people and his ass got burned for it. And now he's trying to play victim and saying that we're giving out virus versions of the code, and he's still trying to help make Second Life a better place and all that jazz. But the problem with that is if anybody tried to post any kind of warning towards it, because like for me, for example, I tried to post a bad review telling everybody what happened without giving too many details. I had the program, it worked. The guy banned me for no reason, and now I have no access to it. He would file a report on it, and it would get removed. It's the same thing with the community. If you would try to say anything bad about there, then a mole would come and take down your post. So it was like, well. So that's what happened right now with Bento Buddy. A lot of people dropped support for it after that happened. I know Legacy did. A lot of the major bodies did after that, because once Legacy did it, everybody just started dropping it too. So that's why you don't see it say supported by Legacy or Slink or whatever. That's it in a nutshell. That was all last month.
It's horrible that happened. Unfortunately. Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah. Jeez. We were just all shocked that the Blender guy came down and was like, oh, hell nah. You can't make money doing this. Don't rip off Buddy. Yeah, right? I didn't have anything to do with it. I just told people what happened. That's why I said it was a good product. But now that it's GPL, it's been, forked and redistributed so you don't have to deal with them. But yay. It's just that just bothered me that Second Life was like, I understand coming from me, Madam Steal a lot, that this is I ain't got no right to talk about theft or anything, but that was money, you know. And this was money, people's money that he swiped, and they're like, well, we're just the middleman, but held up their hands and walk away like, nope, this has nothing to do with us, you guys figure it out on your own. I mean, I was able to get some of my money back through some commissions and work and whatever, but other people, they lost a lot of money. Yeah, well, 14K in Linden, not real money. Real money, then it'd have been a court thing, but...
There's been more and more of these types of incidents happen where somebody has a, for whatever reason, just has a political bent and they make a change. And I mean, Node.js is probably one of the big ones or whatever. Log4j or whatever, stuff like that. So it's popping up more and more, unfortunately.
Yep. People who are good at writing code are often terrible at running a business.
Well, it wouldn't be that bad
very glad for our business department.
Yeah, it wouldn't be bad if he wouldn't just like, well, you know, I have Asperger's, so it's okay for me to act this way. I'm like, man.
I guess the only consolation is that you can only basically pull this kind of scam type behavior before your reputation precedes you, and you change your name, but eventually people will find out it's like, hey, this is the same guy or same person doing this, so don't buy it for them.
Well, if you bought it, he's like, he got a new version out. I don't really know what they're doing with people who got it now, to be honest with you. But somebody says that. But you're right, you can only do this once. And hopefully it doesn't get, you know, people don't get scammed as hard like this again. You know, the warning is out there. I mean, I don't know how many people know now, but now they know.
No, I agree. There's no excuse for not respecting your customers. So, if customers are reporting a bug, you don't block them or ban them just because they leave a bad review. It's like sometimes customers have, I know this is a legit bug. It's like maybe this needs to be addressed in the workflow, and sometimes these are just complaints. So it takes wisdom to kind of weed through the quality stuff versus the complaining stuff, but a smart developer doesn't ignore feedback. You can take, hey, people are having a problem with this, maybe we should fix this.
Right? Well, you know, there's also some people who can't accept that they did anything wrong. They're all right all the time.
Yeah, ego's a big problem.
Oh, how'd the thing go?
What are you talking about? I'm never wrong.
Except when you are.
Yeah. No. Seriously, I'm wrong more often than I'm right.
Some people take a little longer to understand diplomacy. And I'm not talking cowboy diplomacy either.
I have another off-the-wall question, if you don't mind.
Shoot.
Particle system.
Oh boy.
I notice a lot of weirdness when, say, you have a source or target off screen. Where your particle either doesn't know where that's supposed to be, whether it be a ribbon or not.
Oh man, and Ryder's not here. I'm pretty sure I know what that is. Does it seem like it just sort of jumps around and?
Yeah, it just say I made a bunch of particle cables that go from target to target to target, but if any of those targets are off screen, it doesn't know where that's supposed to be, and so it just sort of wiggles freely in there.
Yeah, that's because the simulator doesn't send updates for things that you're not looking at.
We need a slightly bigger frustrum.
No, it would have to special case in things that are particle targets, because like you literally don't have the bandwidth to send the whole region all the time.
It's so hot. I want to turn the heater off, but I know it's going to drop.
I have an example I can send you as well.
Yeah. Please
If you see
do.
bugs like this, definitely file a JIRA and file a Slurl where it happened and kind of description for how you got to repro this. Definitely appreciated.
Shucks, I was hoping to be some like off the wall request like mesh particles.
We can have those?
I would very much like to be able to support GIFs in particles or animate particles, but I
Here come
don't
all
think
the
that's
cat
gonna be a
faces
thing.
and every particle.
See now look what I've done. I said mesh particles in a meeting. And
Comes back to mesh eventually.
Can we have an easier system for
technically-
GIFs instead of using the GIF script? Maybe be able to finally
Technically,
upload them?
You could make a GIF with particles by just having a new particle like
Bless
play every 0.1 second, like 4 different
Because you
particle
can, doesn't
settings
mean
on a
you
loop.
should. Yes, you could.
Oh,
You could set it to source, so even if it does move, it could go anywhere.
for some reason, I thought there was a flipbook particle that worked the same as the texture animation.
But yeah, it definitely would not be optimal.
Huh.
What I'm doing is I say for this typer that I've made, for every particle that's emitted, I send a different texture. Comes off my face.
That's fun.
I'm so curious what
Oh
everybody was
yeah,
saying.
like doing a flipbook that follows the same rules as the animated texture thing on a prim face. That would not make the particle system any slower. There's a cache miss in there you could drive a truck through as it's packing the vertex buffer. I have no idea what the script API would look like. That's kind of a writer question. What do you mean by animated textures that allows including other links in the animation protocol?
Most animated textures out there right now are using set link primitive params fast, and it's switching either the offset of a texture template, or it's using texture anim, which is sliding something back and forth. Usually it's the former.
What happened?
Or you're swapping out individual textures for every frame.
Who is this person anyway? Oops, I bite my mic. Bump my mic. Hope
I
I'm
guess
not
I'm not
buzzing.
familiar with the animation protocol.
Oh, let me again. The the ass and Asperger. Oh, that's funny.
I need to head out, so everyone stay safe. Thanks again for the questions and feedback. Bye, man.
See you.
Yeah, I'm gonna go try to make texture loading faster. Just found a terrible thing in the code that it's a whole frame before trying to load the next texture. Yep. Thanks for all the feedback, and please be thinking about material import and what that would look like.
Given this giant project I'm working on, I do not want to think about adding more materials.
It's me. Whoa. Please don't die. What's up, gamers?
Nothing. Revolutionizing the world, bringing down corporations
I'm not
that I
camping.
use.
Camping's great.
Looks like we all told our firelight stories.
Firelight?
Yep, it's the fire.
Huh. Okay. Alright, everybody, this is the after party where we just sit around and talk. The meeting's pretty much over. Oh, wait, not y'all. Y'all knew that. I'm telling the people on the stream, but I'm too lazy to click my mouse to turn off the mic, so y'all hear it too.
I wondered what that was about.
Yes. It's still like some people watching. I don't want them to be like, oh, so is the meeting still going? Like, nope, y'all. Meeting's done. We just chilling and gossiping some more now. Effing nice break, though.
Well, this was fun. So basically the only update that I really got was about the upcoming materials. Did I miss anything from before that as far as upcoming features?
Nothing really.
Anything they mentioned was air quotes soon. Which, you know, it's kind of like when my mom used to tell me maybe as a kid. It usually meant no, but, you know, you could still hold out hope. I think that's what they mean by soon.
I got you. So basically we'll probably all be retired by the time any of this actually happens.
Yeah, likely so. I just wish they would
soon.
You know, there's a couple things that, you know, everybody keeps talking about PBR, and I think you all are distracting them. Because what we need first and foremost, even before the mirror thing is cool, and I hope they get to it. We need
No! Mirrors will never happen.
It's something I brought up, but if we're talking about mirrors, it's already being done in planar reflections on the water. Everything's already being rendered twice.
Hold up! Yeah, I just had to explain to somebody why mirrors would never happen and would be a bad idea, and there will be a twerk that will kill us all.
It's literally already happening.
It's not happening the way you think, because we had a very long talk about that, and then it was explained. I mean, I can run past it for you, and why if you want.
Yeah, the I'd like to see everybody pushing at these meetings is fix the world HDRI and give us a copy of it that will work like in Painter or 3D Co or
What I've been
Blender or
suggesting
whatever.
is give us the ability to upload our own HDRI to
I
replace
know,
the
but
existing
that's
generated cube map.
distracting them. That's distracting them.
If
First, they
it's-
just need to fix the one for the whole world,
If
and
you
then
can't have good-looking materials with the existing cube map that exists, it just will never happen. Even if you implement PBR, it will still look terrible.
I'm
Well,
pretty good at fake baking. I don't think my stuff looks terrible.
You can fake bake all day, but if you're trying to use actual PBR materials like they're suggesting that we use, straight out of substance, it won't matter if we're still using the same generated cube map.
well, you know what they say about beauty in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah, the
No.
beholder's usually wrong.
And biased, no doubt. But the simple fact of the matter is that if you ask any of these lindens, they will tell you that the world HDRI sucks. So that's the first thing to fix. That can't be that hard.
No, you can just bypass it. Just give us an option to bypass it with our own.
But see,
Yeah, we don't
that's
need to tell
changing
them
the
to
world
fix
in
that one.
complicated ways. Let's just get them to fix the default one and then work out.
The default one is generated.
Yeah, it's just very basic. Yeah.
But it could be better.
You're right, it could be. It could also include the option to let us upload our own per region for experience or on a personal level. In our world lighting tab, they've already got fields for us to upload our own textures for the water, for the sky, for the ground. We could just add another layer called HDRI and use that as our lighting reflective layer, or replace
It
it.
would be very easy to use the new 360-degree photo feature to make an HDRI for any area.
I don't know. At each of these meetings it comes up, and it's always, needing an inch and asking for a mile, and I don't think we're ever going to get it. I think we need to take an inch at a time. That's, I think we need to take them an inch at a time. First the one thing, and step, and then the next step. But trying to plan it all out and change the whole world to be PBR, that's not realistic. It's not going to happen, in our lifetimes at this rate.
I doubt that. I've already seen a lot of headway in personal clients of my friends that are being developed, and they've already gotten OpenGL 4.0 code to start working. So they've already swapped out the old JPEG decoder with the current one that exists. So these things can be done. They just need people to actually do things.
Well, if they had an infinite number of lindens, they could do all kinds of things. But
They can hire
realistically, that's
interns
not.
all day long and throw them at the problem.
Oh.
But you gotta remember, it's a new team there now. It ain't the lindens of old. This is
That's
an
because all the
investment
old
group.
Lindens were super, just super. They don't want to touch anything. They don't want to break anything. They don't want to change anything.
Actually invest now. Actually put money into the platform now. They're no longer just trying to look attractive on a financial sheet.
So I've been teleporting as many creators as I can to these meetings because, we need a larger sample size for what people actually want.
Like we've seen how other platforms are improving on things that are done.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, to be honest,
No problem, Shug. Thanks for stopping by.
It needs to be able to, at least equate these other platforms and the features they are putting forward. So that means that Second Life has to modernize. So if we just ask for an inch and all we get is an inch, that's not going to be enough, and Second Life will die.
Well, duh. It's on an
Don't
ancient
ask
material.
For the world. I'm just saying, you can't ask them to change the whole world at once. I don't know, the backgrounds of any of you guys, but I've got, real world software engineering, karma. I've been in projects that have been around for a while that had components, written in, nobody even knew what it was written in. And, when you say they're conservative and they don't want to change anything, I completely understand because there's shit in there that's almost, 19, 20 years old now.
They're 30 years actually. They're using code that was developed back in 98.
Yeah,
97.
which isn't surprising. But, I think they were with Sansar. They were hoping they could just set everything aside and, start from scratch and do it right. But of course, they were, their eyes were a little bigger than their stomach, and the market wasn't there yet.
Nah, the market was there. They just said no sex, no furries, and then that damned it all to hell.
Oh, there were no furries? I didn't know about the furries.
So they could be bought. There was a business decision.
Yeah, that damned it. Everybody and their grandma know furries got the money to make the stuff go. So you took them out. I was like, oh well, this is gonna be down in a year.
Well, see, I had no interest in it because, no adult. And it's like, well, hello, I'm adult content, It's just, there's no getting around that, I went in, I tried to do a few things, but, they didn't even have a proper sit system. So, or high heels.
I got
a virtual without high heels.
Exactly. I got all...
Facebook doesn't even have legs, so I guess there's that, but, still.
I got excited because they were like, Marvelous is teaming up with Sansar. Would you like to be one of the pioneers in this program? I was like, okay. Look, all you have to do is just make the clothes and export it out. No rigging or whatever. It automatically rigs to the Sansar thing. I was like, wow, okay, sure. I got in there. I was like, no, I don't like this. I'm going back home.
I loved being able to, pull your shirt out from your pant, from your belt. Get rid of the overlapping, pull the sleeves up a little bit so, they're not over your hands and stuff. That was pretty cool. But, there's no way they could bring that in here because they would have to rewrite the whole world. And I just don't see how they can do it.
Personally, I was hoping Sansar was going to be like Second Life 2.0.
I think we all...
And I guess in some ways it was, but not enough to have us move over there.
That's the thing, Neos is a good example of a competitor to Second Life that if they were to figure out proper desktop support for users, that would be a direct competitor to Second Life, which already has vastly more functionality.
Yeah, I know one of their examples is making leaps and strides.
I think they need to add a different scripting language. Leave all of the existing stuff, don't break anything, and just put something new in place that can do these things,
we were
play
supposed
animation
to get
priorities and stuff.
at one point. That was going to be a thing. That was going to be...
They were going to put C# in Second Life?
Yes, they were.
Yeah, but wasn't that 2010?
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for them to implement the shape keys they said they were going to let us have.
I keep asking about that too, and they're like, "Oh, we're not going to shape."
Shape
why
keys?
not?
What's that?
Yeah, so you can deform mesh using shape keys in Blender.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You can set states of different mesh, and it's super useful for making clothing, for making different states. And a lot of what you see in people making different alpha states for objects or animals that you see walking around. Same thing without the alpha layers and different layering meshes on top of each other.
Basically deformers for Second Life that can be changed via a slider. You know how you change your shape up? But just imagine that on mesh.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Last meeting we had an interesting discussion about the skirts. People are asking, for flexi mesh, and I don't think that, from what I'm hearing them say, I don't think they totally get it.
They don't. None of them are content creators.
Yeah, I tried to explain.
None of them live in this world.
Yeah,
they need to drag their asses in here in their off hours.
They don't make content, and that's, I think, one of the problems is none of the developers for Second Life actually make things in this platform. They're not using the tools.
Yeah,
none of them are content creators. That's why we're here to try and inform them. But maybe somebody doesn't come across or doesn't. It's lost in translation.
Maybe one of the content creators need to go send an application to Linden Labs.
Listen, I already have.
Oh.
I got to stage 2 of
a job description for what they could hire me to do.
It's nice. I got to stage 2 of the hiring process of becoming a Linden, but then I changed my mind. I was I want to be a linden, but then I can't do any of the stuff that I do. They would be taking me out of the game. So I was like, all right, somebody else will do it. It's cool. I need to be a bug.
My last employer, I wrote my own job description, so maybe you just need to get in there and make your own spot.
Tell them they need to hire in a linden who knows how to use a whip.
Well, it's like
that is
their search function. They implemented the new search function, right? But when you look at it, it looks awful. It's awful. So you might just revert back to the old one because it's actually easier to use.
Which search?
The web search function built into the client.
Oh no, they taking that off. That's supposed to be removed in the future viewer because they were like, we're going back. Or was it just web profiles? Awful. Yeah, those are going too.
And it's ugly. I just opened it. I usually only search in the other tabs.
It immediately gives you these giant helpful hint tabs that cover up half of everything else on the screen. They don't go away.
It wants to know if it can accept cookies.
It's fucking god awful. And they don't use it clearly because if you saw this as someone who's using this on a daily basis, you would lose your shit. And I think the one thing that upsets me the most is the uploader, above all things.
What is it specifically that, I think this is, I think we need to have these meetings without them and come up with our demands, like, coherently instead of, 60 people trying to talk at once.
If you grab, say, like a mesh cube or something, and you go to upload it to Second Life, just if for an example, if you go look at that, go grab like a mesh object you've made and bring it into the uploader. There's no, the lighting model inside the viewer is different than what's in world. You can't tell the scale of the object. There's no discernible scaling.
Sure you can. There's a tab for that. Yeah.
I didn't want to say nothing.
Hang on. Let me open it up.
But he was on a roll.
Because you can go to... see here. Under the Upload Options tab, it's got the scale, and the scale shows you the dimensions of the object.
Right, but it's not visible. There's nothing in the viewer, in the viewport.
Hang on, y'all. I gotta go help my husband. So y'all sit here and talk.
What happens if you have multiple things you're trying to bring in, and you want to compare them in any sort of meaningful way?
I do that in Maya.
Right, but there's no way to do that here.
But
or say, for instance, if you make a micro mesh, there's no way to do that here.
Okay, I don't do micro meshes, so yeah, I don't have any.
The camera parameters are different than the default controls. The lighting model's different. Like I forget your name, but you said this earlier when you're trying to upload textures on the rigged model, it doesn't show up. Like.
See, I didn't even know you could do that because I do all my texturing in Substance.
And that's
I don't
another point
apply it back in Maya. So.
Is there's nothing in here that incentivizes me for best practices. Nothing.
How are you going to see the scale in that little window anyway?
Yeah, there's nothing here.
So I also texture in Substance. If I were to go back into Blender and put those textures on the mesh model and upload it that way, does that eliminate any upload costs, or is it still going to charge?
Not still money.
It doesn't.
It's still gonna. It's double the time, and it's still gonna charge you. So it's like no point of doing that.
The only reason to do that is to be able to see what it looks like on the object before you upload it, because the lighting model is different, and you can't really tell what's going on. There's almost no point in doing that.
How are you going to see that in that little window anyway?
That's another point I'm trying to make, is you can't tell what's going on.
You want to see it in the world.
I want to be able to see...
Upload it into the...
Right, but I don't want to have to spend the money to upload the thing if it's not going to work out.
So go to the beta. Go to the beta.
I want to be able to see what...
But then you have to still double the work. No, you still... The beta grid is useless. In that...
It's well, okay.
How much but then you got to do it all again. You gotta do it all again. It's twice the
It's
work.
double the work.
It really
That's a great
is.
point.
The work is done when you make the thing. The
No, but
upload
when you
is
bring
like
it in,
You have to
30
test all your
seconds.
textures out, all the different textures that you want to make. If you could just see it in the uploader right here, you can tell what it looks like before you hit the buy button.
Yeah, but you're not gonna be able to walk around in that little window.
No, but you can cam around it at least.
I
Now,
don't
see
see
what
the
we
point.
need? Did
I
you see
don't
my
see the
comment
point.
earlier about a beta
it helps
TARDIS?
the workflow. It would make workflow a lot easier, and it would make me spend less money because I don't want to have to go to the beta grid every time I want to test a small change or something.
Okay,
I do
hang on.
see-
Let me can I tell you an idea that I've been throwing at them, and I don't think they get it. Okay, I would like to see, now that we're in the Amazon cloud, they should totally be able to do this. It would be cool if we had like a little pocket universe, our own little beta right here in this grid, that we could upload stuff to and walk around it just in that little space, like a TARDIS, bigger on the inside. It's just, you can go in there and you don't get charged for anything until you say, okay, this is just how I want it. Let's take it out into the real world. And at that point, like when you head back out the TARDIS door, that's when it charges you ching 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 for all of the textures that are on there that aren't already in Second Life. And
But would
then
this
you
be
haven't
only
doubled
to
the
you?
work.
Would it be only for you, or would other people get to see it? Because then you'll be stuck.
No.
like
I would
nobody
be fine
would
if it
living
was
in there.
If it was just you to be able to
Well,
see
it
what it
sounds
is.
like Beck is working on that anyway. So for Firestorm.
I mean,
But
that'd be
that's-
cool, but
well,
then it
that's
might
like
be
the
temp texture. As long as it's not like, temp textures of old, where we used to
pretty
just put,
nice.
when we used to be able to put temp textures on in World Upload Temps, and then you would forget they were there, and then you were putting it in your store, and
Oh, it's the
everybody's
same.
gray. As
It's
long
the
as they
same.
can stop that from happening, I'm cool with that.
Temporary
It's the same
textures
thing with
is
local textures.
still
Well, we got
it's the same
local. We still got
functionality.
local, but it's like, well, back then we had actual temp textures you
I
would
know,
be able
but
to
it would be the
upload.
same thing.
As long as
It's literally the same thing.
As long as
Literally the
it's,
same
yeah, that's fine. I'm just saying, as long as you got a way to know, like, okay, that's a temp
Well, there's no
mesh.
way to know now.
Oh goodness.
But that's what I'm saying. If you could upload it all in a temporary space in this world, and then when you've got it all how you want it, you say, okay, transfer it out. If we could even transfer it like the way they do the stuff to go to the marketplace, where you take it to your inventory and then you put it in the other window and it moves over there. If we just had a little like temporary inventory, and then when you say, okay, it's done, move it to the main grid. That would be great, because you're only doing the work once. You see it, you upload it. If it's not right, you put something else, and none of the textures get charged until you say, okay, make it
I
so.
feel like the beta grid is
Right.
That's product of.
You just gotta
the
nod
machine,
here, like,
to be
bro,
quite honest.
stop.
No, the beta grid is where they test stuff.
But you got to remember, Joey's that guy who had 3 years
fine.
of rigging.
If you don't mind doing everything twice.
3 months
Yeah,
of rigging
yeah, so
experience to try
I
to
don't
tell
see
me what I was
uploading
doing
as the
wrong.
work. I see making the model, making the textures as the work, and then the upload is
Joey,
As
your
long as
noob is
creators
showing. Stop it.
I like tons of
if you-
textures for
You're not
everything.
wrong when it comes to the work being mostly when you're working in Blender and stuff.
But
like
the
that.
work
You're
is.
sitting there for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, trying to make your textures or model look correct, uploading it, testing it, uploading it,
they would
testing
look-
it, uploading it, testing it.
And
If I
then
just
when you
saw
go
what
to
it
the.
looked like how it would be in the uploader before I paid for it.
And then
to
when
the
you go
uploader,
on.
that's
I mean,
less work.
And then
if
when you
have
go
a
on.
single object that can have up to 7 faces, and you have three textures if you're including your material maps, that's like 21 textures for a given object, unless you streamline it and combine some of those.
yeah, probably shouldn't be.
Everyone should be doing that. But if you don't, it can be up to 21 textures, and it's a lot to have to go through and do that and apply those twice. And that's just with the idea of having one object with 7 faces.
And
So
heaven
use
forbid
local
you have to
textures,
make
and
it.
then you just hit that little upload button when you're.
I mean, but
Well, yeah,
local
that's
textures, you can't use materials for local textures.
Yes, you can.
Sure, you can.
Okay.
Local normals.
Yeah, you can do that. I give him that.
Local specular.
Okay, that's my mistake.
It's still a lot of extra work.
Yeah.
It is still a lot. I could never be bothered to use the beta grid. I just can't.
I mean, I know, I get what y'all saying, but the beta grid does kind of sort of suck as an extra person. Like, if you put it in here and you upload your mesh, and then you put the texture on it, and it doesn't look quite right, and then you have to modify, like, okay, let me change the specs and stuff of the texture in world to make it look pretty, and then I add this texture and that texture, and they're like, all right, it's done. I gotta do this all over again on the main grid. It's like, that's what we're talking about. Like, oh, that is a pain in the ass. I can get you. But as far as like the temporary textures, we got local, and I abuse the hell out of that. I love being able to save, and then it applies automatically in world. That's great, but
I don't have the patience for that.
It sounds like Becca's making local mesh. So there we go.
Oh well, all
That's
right.
a
Well,
lot
then
quicker than all this other stuff you're talking about.
Well, all right.
Mine would be quicker still, because you
No,
can.
you're talking about a whole nother world.
No, it's just a pocket. We're in the Amazon cloud now. You're telling me they can't open a little pocket universe for us?
It would definitely
it
be
doesn't even
something.
have to be that big.
I mean, yeah, like any MMO would have like your own personal space to just exist.
Your room.
Yeah, well, Sansar had it when you first logged in and you were doing your outfit. You were in this little room without anybody else.
It doesn't have to be on a server. It could all be done.
Technically, that upload window is exactly the same thing as what you're talking about.
Yeah, and just being able to upload the mesh, and then when everything's just how I want it, say, okay, let's take this and go to town, and then
It displays, when you're uploading rig mesh, it displays the character. It's got all the bones there. It's got all the information. It's
But
right
sometimes it's not always accurate. I mean, I uploaded models a number of times where it looks like crap in the preview window with distorted, and I'm like, all right, y'all, when y'all upload and ignore the preview window, it will not look like that in world once we put it in.
make sure you're looking at what the drop down is, because you can view what it's going to look like at different LODs.
No, it's
So
not
if
that.
you
It's
set that to low or something.
No. It's not that. It's when you're using with custom bones, or sometimes when the uploader will make it look like a monster until you check the bone position in world, and then even then it's the arms can be crossed or something like that, and you're like, okay, look, don't worry about it. It'll look better in world once you put this in here and then run this animation. Everything will be okay.
Yeah, see, that's why I don't do clothes. I complain about the double work for the beta grid. Nobody's going to convince me to make an outfit in 6 different bodies. It's just
Clothes,
the way
avatars. Yeah, oh yeah. I get so dreamy eyed when I hear people say, "Oh, I just make furniture." I'm like, "Oh man, you live the life, don't you?"
No, trust me, it's not the life. If you've ever tried to get animations to fit the largest number of people, it's
Oh yeah, that too.
But that's already once shit's in world, and I already know what it looks like.
I would totally give up clothes, avatars, all that jazz if I can just do like drapes. Just open up a store and just make drapes. Like, wow.
Anything. There's a market for anything. Live your dreams.
I can't. My dreams is to help people make their dreams come true.
And you have. I'm living product of your teaching. So.
Oh, yay! My dreams come true. Just wait till you see this next project that's coming.
Always excited.
I feel like you ask me what's my best thing. It's always the next thing.
Yeah, it's always the next thing. The next thing after this, hopefully it's going to work where it'd be easier to make hair in Second Life, but that's possible. Right now, we're doing pets. Picture it, my friend. Over 600 animations, 30 breeds of dogs, 4 breeds of cats, because that's all we got. But all free for you to use in all your products. It's going to be awesome.
You can make the viewer create an SLM file when you upload to the beta grid. And that SLM will have all your LODs and everything already set, and then you can just upload that to the...
That's true.
What magic are you speaking of? Wait, start out. I missed the first
Wait, that sounds like witchcraft, guys. I'm down for this.
That's true.
When you upload a mesh, it converts it to a .slm file. You can make your viewers save that file, and that file is the internal model format. that has all your LODs and everything, all those settings that you set, all those are set.
Now
The
before
textures aren't on there.
you get all starry out with this, but I'm gonna just say that's the upload data that is saved in the Slim, not the stuff that you do to it in world, and that's where we talk about the work. We can always press the upload stuff, but
that's one of those magics with the razor inside of it.
Yeah, we still gotta do the work with changing the specs for the textures and putting all that jazz in there. That's the work.
Like uploading is work.
It's not work. You just push the button. That's the easy part. The hard part is like setting the textures and stuff in world, making sure the scaling and of everything it looks right, putting on the materials. That's the hard work, and then doing it twice, once on the beta grid, then again on the main grid. I was like, fuck it, I'll just pay. I'll pay.
I'll say it's not the end of the world. It's not a big deal, but it is one more step in an already long process.
Yeah, it's not. It's just
that Linden Lab has a very limited bandwidth to work on stuff. So
yeah, we're not blaming them. We're just bitching.
Pretty inconsequential.
We're just complaining because we can't.
Dime them for things like the HDRI map, because nickel and dime, we can get that, this year, maybe next year. But when you go for let's change the whole world, we're talking, their roadmap, 5 years out.
I mean, I would somewhat agree with that. And like I'd say porque los nastos, and I probably butchered that. Like we can present the idea of, okay, we need this, but if not this, then at least improves that.
Right. We need to put the things that are the low-hanging fruit. We need to start them with the low-hanging fruit and get them some forward momentum.
The reflection map is very low-hanging. It is simply a texture.
Exactly.
If they expose that to the uploader, and then boom, that's done. And they need to do that before they do PBR anyway. They have to get that right.
Exactly, which is why it totally makes sense for us all to be pushing, come on, let's get that HDRI. Why isn't it out yet? Because there's no excuse for that one. It's not like they need to hire in 6 engineers to make it happen.
It's Linden Labs. They need to hire 6 engineers to make that happen.
I've been asking that for years, though, for the change in the reflection map.
Yeah, and they've all said, quietly, that it's not that huge of a deal, although they are concerned, naturally, as always, that it might upset something, might make things shinier or something. And it's like, well,
y'all said that
it's
about
not the end of the world if people with 10-year-old furniture have to buy something new. I'm biased on that.
We can't keep creating with the people in mind who are going around in flexi hair and skirts. We can't. We just can't.
I do miss flexi hair and skirts that wiggle.
They have this golden rule of not breaking content, which I think they just need to break it.
That's what I'm saying. Just break it.
Yeah, but are we all going to put up with it when it's our stuff and our customers are coming to us?
That's true.
So update.
That's on us to update.
80% of what I do is update. So
I try not to go back.
I try
not to go back.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from, but it will take away some history.
I understand. Like I would say, break my stuff and let me make new stuff if the new stuff is better.
Yep, I'm right there with you. Yeah, take a
I'm on the
picture
fence.
Take a picture if you want history.
Well, it depends, how they're breaking.
Take a picture if you want history. I would smack you. What? That's so rude.
Well, here's one of the things. They've already broken object like scripts. There's a script delay, so bullets and things for guns. A lot of physical damage.
I thought they fixed that
bug. That's a bug. That's a bug, though.
But
didn't they fix that?
There's no reason for me to make any weapons now because of it.
Yeah, my weapons were affected. So.
Well, somebody was telling me she's been making things, and she actually started going back and making her old weapons again because
Joey,
it wasn't as bad.
I'm coming for you.
It's still very.
I wasn't really aware that many people still use the like Linden damage system. I figured if you want
I thought
damage,
they
you
died.
would probably use a scripted system.
I figure everybody just cheats at that.
I thought everybody stopped
No, you
using that
don't.
forever
They-
ago.
Then you're locked into a
They
specific
have
system.
increased the script efficiency like 20-fold in the last couple of months.
Because we're in money pits mode.
Even
I'm
so,
so glad because
there's
I
a script
pay for the
initialization
extra.
delay.
Oh, hold on, I'll
So
tell
you'll
you
shoot
them.
something like out of a gun, and that object will res out, and it'll be seconds before any event
Yep.
is triggered. It'll bounce off a wall, hit something else, hit the ground, and then that collision event will trigger and say hit the ground. It will never register anything else.
Hold on one second, real quick. I don't know if that person Kez or Kezette can hear, but the creator of those knee pads says, "Hi, oh my God, you're wearing my stuff." Small world.
Is that in the
Oh yeah, thank
Twitch
you.
stream?
Thanks for making them. They're great.
Yeah, my second in the YouTube stream.
Yeah, it's usually about 3-second delay, which is way too long for a bullet.
There you go. Strut those kneecaps. Strut those kneecaps. Thank you.
It's like, I would so like to see them make a new avatar and just give us a choice of keeping everything in the current system just the way it is and having a separate one. And you can decide in your appearance mode if you're the default and all of the stuff we have now, or if you're the new one, and actually make a new avatar that, you know, new people coming into the world could start out with, that had a decent shape and didn't have a duck walk, and everybody could have whatever weird funky shape they wanted, and clothes could just be made for a single avatar.
Well, when I was a mini mold, there were things that we were talking about with it. So Linden Labs was looking into that, but then somebody said that would step on the toes of other body creators. So they kind of sort of let it go.
They could, if, like you were talking earlier about the blend shape, okay? Maitreya, Legacy, all these people, they could start making blend shapes, you know, because the whole thing is they're making bodies a particular style of body. I mean, they could sell the shapes for this default body. They could still make money, and there's still going to be people who have, you know, Maitreya who, you know, you'll take my Maitreya body from my cold dead hands, you know.
Oh yeah.
You know, and they'll tell other people, well, I know this body, so here, get this one and I can help set you up. But that there would be I think over time it would sort of change and people would move towards the one where you don't have to have 6 varieties of clothes.
Well, it does suck. I only do some limited rigging, but whenever I do rig things to the avatar body, I do have to rig like 16 different things, and it's crazy. But people like diversity. They like options.
But blend shapes could totally do that.
Yeah, that's true.
So if they came up with a better kind of avatar that could take the blend shapes that would, you know, and they'd have to sit down and actually make a committee of all of these major body creators and have them all work together to figure out, okay, how do they keep their revenue stream? How do they create the best avatar? What does the avatar need to meet all of their things? I mean, those are the people who should be designing the avatar, not Linden Lab.
Yeah. That would be amazing.
With Linden Lab, of course. But, I mean, we should take what they know. And if Linden Lab, you know, pushes them a little money on the side, hires them as consultants or something, they're still getting their green. And, you know, if there's the thing that they can still sell shapes and whatever, well, all right, their business will have to change over time, but it wouldn't necessarily put them out of business if it was done right.
There are a lot of issues with their original avatar and rigging structure that need to be updated, but unfortunately there's too much content created around those to...
Which is why you'd have the choice of the other way or the new way. Yeah. I've actually
change the UV map though, because now everybody uses that. Now everybody uses that UV map.
Well, it would be a different avatar, so it would be a better UV map, presumably.
You would hope.
Right, and now you've got skins that don't work on Then you got skins that only
many
work on
people,
certain.
many avatar bodies, like the one I'm wearing, or like the Legacy or whatever, you can apply bomb that's meant for those UV maps.
Yep.
Right, only because that UV map is the same one.
Right.
No, the Leluca heads are using a different.
Its own custom UV.
Yeah, because if you don't have the Evo set, your eyebrows are sideburns.
You have
like
to
you
apply
can put
bomb
mutton chop.
that was meant for that UV map.
Right.
Yeah.
See, that's further complications.
2005 UV is something new that is like actually covering the entire body, for example, instead of just a part. Like if there are definitely a million things they could do.
Well, then you're just so now you've got skin makers that are complaining because they got to make 10 different skins, for different bodies.
Oh, it's a brand new market.
They have to now.
There's no skins for them. So if they make skins for them, they've got a whole market for themselves. You need to sell to them. You can't just let them complain. Sell to them.
Plus, they're not here right now, so we can throw them under the bus.
Yeah, then you got the other ones that like, oh, you know what? Forget it. I just totally lost my chain of thought. Forget me. I was like, and those people like to do the thing, and they're like, the thing. I forgot. My brain totally died.
It's not that I'm trying to throw the body makers out of business. I just think, that their business could be improved by having, rather than having to make their own avatars, to be able to, blend shape a system avatar in such a way that you could use a skin and it could go head to toe on your body, and not have to have different skins, different heads and different bodies, and it's such a mess because we're losing new people. It's so complicated. Like, I just started using the baked on mesh and I got a new head and stuff. I've been in SL for like over 16 years now, and I still have trouble getting myself dressed sometimes. It's ridiculous.
Baked on mesh isn't.
Baked on mesh is
new though.
Yeah, that's not
no,
new
but
at
I
all.
only just got around to it. I said I wasn't gonna.
That's the way it was before. You just wore.
Yep.
Yes, and that's nice. I mean, I actually like that. So it would really be nice if there was, a new avatar that was set up with these system layers and got the content creators on board so that they don't go out of business.
Well, we and the bugs are working on it, okay? We're trying to get people to know how avatars work and how to make their own avatars. As soon as we get that alpha body script, everything will be better. But it's stuck there. That's the only thing that's keeping people from getting new bodies, or at least my class.
What do you mean? What? Like just to hide their default avatar?
999. You know how you got your alpha HUD that hides out the sections when you push a button? Yeah, I don't know how to script. So I know you would say that, like, you don't need that, especially with bakes on mesh, but trust me, people will bitch about that HUD. So I need to learn how to make that HUD, then everybody will know how to make really good avatars.
Well, that's easy. That's easy.
That's easy for you. Like I said, scripts are my elemental weakness. You're asking an Onyx to use surf. I can't do it. If I can get that script and understand how it works, I mean, like, I have some in English for dumb people.
Yeah, you're just changing alpha. You're just changing alpha of a face, and it's a single command.
I'm like a fairy. I'm like, wait, what Pokemon is weak to everything? Textures, I can't do that, and I can't do scripting.
LL set link alpha. There you go. That's all you need. Look that up.
But isn't it? It's gonna be different.
Yeah, you can have BOM and alpha. Oh gosh, my brain. Oh, my head.
I mean, yeah, for most bodies, you can just pick up the automatic, like, alpha hiding script.
That right there is the main reason why I stopped making clothes for people. When people were like, oh, well, it's a really good outfit, but it doesn't alpha my clothes out automatically. I'm like, push the button. Stop being lazy. How hard is it you to push chest? Stop doing it.
You really need to make a way so that you can link, say, an alpha to an object, so that when you wear the object, the alpha or some other wearable wears at the same time. Then you don't have to spend 20 minutes getting dressed.
Well, that's fun. That's like realistic stuff. And it takes about 20 minutes to get dressed on the regular. But yeah, one thing at a time. Animals first, then bodies, then babies, and then combat. Though now I'm starting to feel a little bad about
make
this.
The
And
babies fight. Sorry, the visual for that was just too strong.
I'm telling you, this is an untapped market. Combat babies. The baby arena. That'll be the next thing.
The rattle with 0.5 damage.
I had that phase where I wanted to punch a baby, and you know what? I'm here for this.
Yeah.
2 babies enter, only 1.
That baby was taking deep.
All I heard is punching babies.
She was talking about animals and then babies and then combat. My brain immediately went to 2 babies in a ring.
Or like a wild cat and a baby in a ring. You know, options.
Alright, that's next month's project. We have it set.
Baby.
Ripples.
Yes! Like, yes, exactly like that. Zero, when you make combat babies, make furry babies that...
Realize that's a sign we've been thinking about this.
Somebody said that once I make the combat babies, I gotta make furry versions of them that do double the damage.
Well, they got claws, yeah, so there you go.
Oh my gosh. Ew, dinkies. Get out of here. This is, oh, sorry. I'm used to saying it like, dinkies, get out of here. This is blatant cat turf. We beat up dinkies. They're little short cats that are ugly as all get out. They're like if Oblivion made Khajiits, but miniature, it'd be that.
Savage.
I know who made them.
I miss the hamsters.
The hamsters were
The person
doing.
who made the hamsters passed away a few years ago.
Oh. Oh.
You know the hamster avatar.
Uh-huh. I thought they were
They had
adorable, and
all
I was...
little outfits for him and stuff. That was fun.
That would explain why they didn't respond back to me when I was asking about making a dev kit for it.
Yeah, I went to the shop.
Oh my
Followed
god,
it
me
back, and there was a
Roos.
sign up in the shop saying that the person had passed away.
How sad.
You're in SL long enough.
Is it?
You know,
Is
it's gonna
it?
happen to everybody eventually.
Oh. I just gotta find a good looking baby.
Terms of service. Yeah, let's not get on the wrong side of the terms of service just because we're weird.
It's just hard to find a good looking baby. Every time I try to make a baby, that baby comes out angry. And then I try to look in other games, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go, what was it? Resident Evil. That's a good looking baby. Then I look up close, like, oh no, that's an ugly baby. I can't find one. Every time I think I'm gonna find a good baby, it's ugly. Like, oh, nice body, ugly face. Who was it?
Uncanny Valley.
Small people, which are definitely not babies because we give stashes.
These are miniature humans. Oh my god.